Hey, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Dead in Vinland, the game where we, once again, must do work that has already been done. I'm a little bit more chipper, a little bit more positive about this makeup recording session, only because I've managed to steal a little bit of time here at lunch. The house is empty. I've got about a half an hour before I have to go back to work, and so I'm dedicating it to this second episode, this rectifying the disaster that was the second episode of the last recording session. Talking over, trying to figure out what I'm doing here. I think in this video you're gonna see a lot of things really start to ramp up. Oh yes, and there's some strange decisions that I make, which will hopefully be for the best. And if I sound like I've just eaten, it's because I have wolfed down a couple sandwiches, and in the hopes of filling the old gullet before going back to work. I work in a fairly labor-intensive job, so I tend to pack in the calories. And I'm going to have a Nutri-Grain bar here, in fact, on camera, only because if I waited to eat this, I would end up possibly behind, and chances are I'm still going to end up a little bit behind. I think this video ran long. But yeah, you're going to see this is a lot of trying to keep people's, mainly Kari's and Eirik's stats in check. So good. Strawberry Nutri-Grain bar. And the reason for the focus on Kari and Eirik is obviously because of the meat management strategy that I came up with in order to meet the tribute coming up. Yeah, see, we get some camp condition degradation. We're still desperately waiting for the pens and the sheep, and in the meantime we're trying to keep everybody in a good place. Ain't that the truth? So good. But yeah, Dead in Vinland. Not going to, I'm seeing this run through to the end. I don't know. Originally I wanted to do another run on a harder difficulty, because this one has seemed fairly easy up till this point, and it still is not overly difficult, right? I mean, their stats are ramping up, or they're not out of control, and we're bringing them down easily enough. So I was planning to do a harder run, and also wanting to see what factors were, or what events and chain of events were scripted, and what were like as the result of me. And I was looking forward to that. Given the demand on my time, that's not going to happen in the near future. It's going to be this run. We're going to see it through to the end. We're going to see how it goes. It's going to be a lot of late night recordings. So say goodbye to this this chipper Broman that you've come to know and love over the past few months, because it's going to be a lot of much more subdued, much more calming, relaxing. Still the same sort of quirks, the intricacies, the oddities, the peculiarities that you're familiar with, but just in a much quieter manner. And we're going to see how that goes for a bit. And if it doesn't work, maybe I'll just have to move. Or maybe kick people out. But I don't know what would be easier at this point. I think it's easier to move or to kick other people out. I don't know. I haven't had much luck telling these three women what to do as it is, let alone kick them out of their own house. It seems unnecessarily harsh, I suppose. So we'll stick to the evening recordings until then. As you can see, we're kind of back on track here with people in their usual positions. Parvan is not cooking anymore, but the camp condition, man, and the effects of the weather really pretty obvious. We can't even upgrade the herbalist or repair the herbalist anymore because it requires cloth for some reason, or fabric, or whatever they call it. And yeah, so here I was just running through some of the sort of logistical practicalities of how I was going to get this meat. There I was considering trapping for it, but you need the meat to bait the traps, and then you need to make more traps, and I've already got the arrows and the doubled up spots, so you know, why do that? Here I'm having a hard time trying to find what to do with Kari, because I don't want to risk an encounter that ends up injuring Kari, Eirik, before they have to go and do the meat. You know, there are supplies to be gained by doing that, but there's also risk to their well-being. And so I didn't know what to do with Kari here. Didn't want to send her out hunting by herself. The meat's just going to spoil. No sense stockpiling it now. It's too early, and she runs the risk of injuries. So I was really trying to figure out, struggling with what to do with her. So good. I know you're jealous, but don't worry, I'm enjoying it enough for the both of us. Perfect. But yeah, I mean, Kari is so useful. It would hurt to you can tell I'm holding here for quite a while. But yeah, I mean, it hurt to have nothing to do with her. It's just the timing is odd. In these games, I tend to believe that, you know, that you should not waste any time. Having someone not accomplish something is definitely not a good thing. You usually want to make use of all those intervals of time that you possibly can. So yeah, and I held here for quite a while because I did not know what to do. The rain was continuing to fall as it tends to do, and I guess that's also the problem when you kind of pigeonhole some of your characters, and when they can't fulfill those pigeonholed tasks for whatever reason, or they just need to take a break from them, there's not much else they can do. And it's kind of a weakness. It becomes a pretty noticeable weakness whenever you try to shift gears with them, and there's really nowhere else to stick them. And also, we're conserving wood, so I couldn't even put her in the workshop. Here, I was trying to think, well, maybe she can make some beer or something, but beer is not even a time-consuming activity. It's just a click and go. So there was really no value to having her there. Yeah. So I did not know what to do with her. And I roamed around camp a little bit, kind of lamenting the fact that we're out of so many important resources. We're low on the natural resource levels in those couple of places. And yeah, it's really just kind of a holding pattern, and that holding pattern doesn't include Kari. the unfortunate truth there. So yeah, we just kind of roamed around for a bit. Unlike my personal life, I was kind of directionless. Right now I have too much direction, and this is what I ended up doing. This is my strange decision. Number one, I stuck her in the shelter. There's nothing else I can do. Just threw her in there. Yeah, I think it's even weirder later on, if I remember correctly, but that was the start of it. Just because of the way the timing is working and the weather, and yeah, just not sure what to do. But Bloodwood got started on those ropes. Those 15 ropes are an important task that I was glad to get started, because it brings us towards getting those pens, and that's a very important step for us here. She loses 5 Fatsy Gay. Who really cares, right? Going into the night, she's going to lose it anyway. And again, we get hammered with that condition degradation because of the weather. It's just, it's piling up and piling up. Parvana's holding her own and collecting the hemp to feed the rope machine, but that's going to just end up getting degraded and running low on resources as well. So I really feel like this is the beginning of a potential downward spiral if I can't get things accomplished fast enough. And Eirik, I just noticed now, looks like, well, with that much wood, we still need that. No, we do need that wood for the pens. That's right. That was the whole point. Was we need him to continue hitting that wood. That's about the only thing that works out in all this, is that by the time it comes to move Eirik over to hunting, he's going to have the wood. He'll have generated more than enough wood to build the pens and then build a little stockpile for heating and drinking and whatnot. So that's working out fine, our wood economy. But everything else is in a bit of a precarious situation. This Parvana girl, she is nice, I think, but she is not really helpful on the camp. I say we should expel her. Things get a little serious here, a little dicey, a little jabby, a little backhanded and sneaky, and yeah, things are not going well. I am not getting rid of Parvana, I can tell you that. I said that from day one. It's not going to happen. If we expel her, she won't last 2 hours alive by herself. It's as if we sentence her to death. Who cares? We can't help everyone, and she surely doesn't help us. That's not exactly true. Hemp is valuable. That's a bit harsh. If we could convince her to do a bit more work, everything will be fine. That's your call. I don't really care. I like the girl. She's fun. Fun, yeah. I don't know when she is making fun of me and when she is serious. One thing's for sure, Yagub is very protective with her. He will go where she will go. And for one, Yagub is a real asset to the camp. I don't want to lose him. Yeah. This is where things get really interesting. Eirik, sorry to ask you that, but Blodwed and you are really husband and wife? Of course. Why do you ask? No, it's just that I thought, I don't know, you don't seem very close. If I had a man like you, I couldn't stop kissing him, touching him, making nice things for him. This was, I could tell, the beginning of something terrible. She doesn't know how lucky she is. Yeah, more relationship downgrades there. Here we had a decision of the ages for poor Eirik here. And I ended up going, I wanted the joke to, in order to kind of diffuse the situation and kind of bring out a more laid back version of Eirik. But I was going with the role playing. He's down on himself. He's depressed, but he's still stoic. It's all because he sees himself as the leader, the figurehead. And a figurehead and a leader of this family would not defend his wife, right? I mean, yes, Parvana may be a local new flavor of the month kind of thing, but Blodwed is Blodwed, and there's no messing around with that. So I ended up deciding to defend Blodwed here in a minute, a hot minute, second, right now, please. But yeah, it was for those reasons, because that is the Eirik that I am trying to build and want to see here. I don't know if she's lucky to have me, but I'm very lucky to have her. Boom. Great decision, Broman. Aw, so cute. You know how to melt a girl's heart, And then it backfires because she ends up liking us more too. Now I'm even more jealous of her. So I thought this might help, but it just made everything even more amplified. As Parvana burst into laughter, she laid her hand on Eirik's forearm. And things get really interesting. Her touch was soft as silk, but Eirik felt like his arm was struck by lightning. Their eyes met for a split second, and she left him with a mischievous smile. And only 8 depression were lost there. That's something else. Yeah, so things are really heating up here in the old camp. Getting a little hot, so to speak, despite the cold weather outside. Things are getting a little hot and heavy. And see, again, stats just ramping up: fatigue, depression, even a couple of hungers, are just starting to build and build and build. And yeah, I mean, if we're not careful here, things could get out of control. And now that I have, I wasn't so keen on Tomo before, but now that I have 6 people, or 7 people rather, I don't want to lose any of them. Before, if Tomo went, I thought, whatever. Now I don't want to lose any of them. It's a nice, I kind of like the little rhythm that we had going on. To a couple of crafters, a couple of more gatherers, some hunters and fish. Like, we had a nice mix going on, and I don't want to lose any of them. So even though only the loss condition is contingent only on the core family, the 4 of them, I don't want to lose anybody. So we're going to be doing our best to keep everybody in line, everybody's stats in check, and meeting those tributes to avoid, just outright murder. And another rainy day, the weather is not doing us any favors. And conditions just continue to be a little bit low, down on the oranges and the yellows. Yeah, like we need pens bad. And I don't know how long it's going to take to start generating wool and then turn that wool into cloth. So next few videos could be interesting. Could be a tough go. And here I decided to make use of the killer affinity bonuses that we certainly have now. And I stuck Parvana and Eirik in the tavern together. I figured all this sexual tension going on between them, what else do we need to add but a little bit of alcohol, right? That's just going to make everything fine. And here's where I made the second crazy decision. I threw everybody into the shelter. And everything else was just so drawn out. I didn't want to waste any more resources on crafting until we had what we needed for the pens. And I just, everything was kind of on hold. And I thought, everyone just go in the shelter. There's nothing else for you to do. And it was kind of a weird decision. And not only that, but the people who are not in the shelter are just recovering. They're not producing anything. They're not manufacturing anything, harvesting anything. Nothing is getting done there. I still am missing the ropes for the pens. And I think, do I pull Yagoob can go out there? Oh, please tell me I pull Yagoob out. He can be working on those ropes. Moira's resting, but Yagoob, yes, okay. Whew, thank you, Broman. There's no reason why he can't be making ropes. That's right. We've already spent the resources for it, which we got specifically for that reason, so we might as well work on it. Yeah. I'm glad I remember that now. I remember having that realization that Yagoob is just sitting around. Oh no, he should be finishing those ropes. And we get a good depression roll on her, but not so hot on. Yeah, no, better on her, not so hot on him. 27 is not as much as I wanted, but still better than nothing. And of course, we fall just short of finishing the ropes, but they're on their way. We gain some water. That's really not necessary at this point, but we'll take it. And then we lose a whole bunch of Fatsy Gay because we stuck everybody in there. Yeah. And that's, here I was I thought, oh yeah, salt is easy enough to make. You just use the non-potable. It's a good way to use it. But then I remembered, oh no, you need to burn through wood too in order to do that. So you got to be a little bit more aware of the resources that you're spending. It's not a straight gimme. It's not a one-off by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, let's see. Look at this. Very strange. Very strange. Again, it's all about waiting for those pens, and until we, no, it's not all. It's primarily that, and also keeping Eirik and Kari in good condition, so when they do try to bang out all that meat, that we get the high rolls and can eat some of the degradation, and still have enough for tribute on tribute day. And see, that's why I'm kind of oscillating back and forth between them here, because trying to look at their sickness and injury stats. To make sure we can get those down so they're the most effective that they can be at the right time. Because right now everyone is becoming less effective at a different rate because of the weather and everything. So it's trying to keep everybody in good working order. Bang out the pens, bang out the meat, and get this camp up and running again. We got tons to explore. I don't even think I look at the map in these videos, because it's just not in the cards. It's out of the question for the time being. once we get up and rolling again, Parvana is our beast handler, you know, and harvester, and Moira harvesting, and Tomo back on the mud, like, and get everyone kind of back in the flow of things, and get that blasted sheep, then we should find ourselves trucking along quite nicely. At least that's the intention. And we're gonna have another interesting evening here, so let's dial in. Tell me about your childhood. How was the little Eirik? And this, I cracked up right here because I said, I don't know. I think it's a French game. I'm not sure. It's a Europe. I'm not sure, but I just said in our culture, the little Eirik could be. I don't know what it is in the Persian Empire, and I don't know what it is in the Norse lands, but in small town Canada, little Eirik means something a little bit more different. Oh, he was like all boys his age, a young fool. I was raised by my mother. I never knew my father. Oh, that's so sad. Poor little boy. No, I had a good life. My mother was very kind. We ate a good meal every day. We had a roof. I was more lucky than many boys my age. And you? Oh, like you, I didn't know my father. Mum told me he left the day I was born. My mother and I shared a special bond. We were very close. She taught me all I know. How to dance, how to smile, and how to defend myself. How did you become a royal dancer? Oh, quite simple. My mum was the nanny of the daughter of the High Vizier, a very important man. I grew up with her. She was my soul sister, my best and only friend. She helped me enter the Royal Dancers Company, but I was talented too. Oh, I never showed you my dance? Let me give you a taste of my former land. I don't know if it's the good time to. There will never be a good time. We could die tomorrow, so please. Okay, why not after all? Parvana started to move to the sound of an imaginary song. The waves she was making with her body were mesmerizing. It seemed like she had control over every muscle from the tip of her feet to her neck. The sensual rhythm of her hips, the grace of her thin arms swirling in the air. And then her dance started to increase in intensity. The soft caress was becoming wild, frenzied. She extended her hand to Eirik and smiled at him. Come, join me. Not a moment to hesitate here. Eirik accepted the invitation to join Parvana's wild dance. He mostly stood there, stiff like a tree trunk. But she swirled around him in a hypnotic dance, faster and faster. Eirik lost totally track of what was happening, like in a haze. She was now literally dancing with Eirik's body, as if he was a wall or a rug. She rubbed her butt from his left foot to his crotch, bouncing to the sound of the imaginary music. Just out of control here. Just what is happening? What is going on? A moment of weakness for Eirik. The dance was not suggestive anymore. It was clearly an arousing imitation of sex. Excited for 4 days, that's more like it. Excited for 5. When Parvana felt she was making some effect on the confused Eirik, she pulled away with her mischievous smile and turned to him. So, was it any good? And her fatigue goes up, of course. Yes, very, very nice. Depression, only down by 5. Such low, but a bump in 20. I don't mean to, I was all aboard the Bloodwed train, but it's so comical. I mean, it's just, literally a royal dancer comes wandering into your camp. Of course she's going to end up stirring things up. We can't just take the calm road here. This is, it's an exciting time. It's a dangerous time. Life could be short. Things are going to get stirred up. Things are going to happen. We're not going to let it get too out of control here. It's just a little innocent dancing for now. Bloodwed is still the matriarch, and that's the way it's going to be. It's never going to change. Just let Parvana have her fun. It's not going to change. And I think here we end up spending, because we got a lot, all yellow hungers, and we burned through some of our non-perishables. And that was another one of the strange decisions that I was talking about. because I was saving that food for an emergency, and it's not quite an emergency yet, although I guess we are getting there. Probably could have gotten away with giving like everybody one meat. I ended up going through a lot of berries here, and my logic with the berries was that you can hang more berries at any given time, more quantity wise, more than meat, and the meat requires salt and the berries don't. So it's much easier to much easier to hang more berries than it is more meat. And I tend to like to cook the meat, so there's other things to do with it. The rain just keeps coming and does not let up. And so this video ends today. I don't think I do anything more. I just kind of look around, see what's going on. Got lucky there, some of our food back, but also stolen. But then we just we cut it there. Thanks very much for watching. We take a quick look at our inventory for some reason. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, things are kind of in a weird place in the old Viking encampment here, and we will get it sorted out, but that's gonna have to wait for another episode. So until then, thanks very much. See you soon.